here on the third umpire, although it seems like thus far, I'm not worried though the others will join shortly. I'm the only standing umpire. But that's how it goes. It's a rainy Friday out there. But we thank God, as always, for life and health and strength and the opportunity to interact with you, the pavilion. We thank God for the owners and operators of this station for giving a medium to talk radio and the opportunity to analyze and digest some of the issues that plague our society towards crafting solutions. This is not the Streets Complaints Authority. You know, we are not only about complain and complain. We really do pride ourselves in getting into the issues towards finding a solution that you, the pavilion, are able to craft. You know, we don't know it all. We may discuss the points and, you know, we may edify each other in bringing certain events to light, etc. But at the end of the day, we believe that no solution is beyond us, and that in conversation with you, the pavilion, we may be able to craft some novel solutions, or we may be able to rediscover or to uncover things that maybe were there all the time but we've been ignoring, you know, as a society, as a people with a mixed agenda. Everybody wants something, needs something, everybody's trying to get by, everybody's trying to live and survive and get a dollar. So we want to thank the Creator and for having us here and having the opportunity to interact with you. We value your opinions and your input, the pavilion, you know. But don't mind that sometimes we may not indulge in a particular line of argument. At the end of the day, we do value you. You all are as important as the umpires, because without anybody in the stands, without anybody there, you know, what fun will this be? You know, and so we do want to say that we appreciate all our callers, all our loyal callers, and we want to encourage the new ones to participate in the discussion. You have something to share. You are the street. You are the street 91.9. You are the street, and you can help us come up with solutions. It doesn't have to be always something found at University of St. Augustine. It could be University of Woodford Square. We are open to solutions, to ideas, and we are going to strive to make valiant contributions to fostering a better Trinidad and Tobago. So good afternoon all. And this afternoon we want to touch on something that we've been talking about all the time. And again, I'm going to the match report in the Newsday. And we always try to share with our listeners what has been going on, and whether we believe it or not, where there might be credibility issues, we do want to kind of, you know, keep to that, referring to the print media, to really touch on some of the issues. So High Court ruling on the 23rd of July, there was a High Court ruling ordering former directors of the Sports Company of Trinidad and Tobago, Sportity, to pay damages for rubber stamping a suspect contract that might seem relevant to one entity, but its implications extend to the entirety of the state enterprise sector. It is a timely precedent, raising a fresh bulwark against sleaze. Justice Ricky Rhyme, one of the most senior judges on the bench, ruled that the company's 2012 Sole Select award of a $34 million contract under ill-fated life sport program, a breach of fiduciary duties to exercise care and responsible oversight. Precipitating the award had been a specific ministerial directive issued under the first Kamala Prasad Bisasa administration, and a blurring of the lines between Cabinet Committee and Sportity. but this was no excuse. Boards of state enterprises are not rubber stamps. Let me repeat what the judge said. Boards of state enterprises are not rubber stamps, the judge declared, imposing $40,000 in nominal damages against each of the 14 officials named in the case, which was brought by a reconstituted board under the PNM years after Ms. Prasad Bisasa took action to kill the life support program. It is too soon to say whether these findings will be truly transformative when it comes to corporate culture at state enterprises. The ruling might be appealed. History also suggests that the culture of just doing what the government wants may well prevail. The board members have a fiduciary duty to shareholders. Have a fiduciary duty to shareholders is hardly a novel proposition. So this is not new. It is because the government is ultimately the controlling shareholder of many state enterprises, and that those duties turn out to be moot. An administration can simply remove a board at an extraordinary general meeting. With million-dollar state contracts at stake, directors might also feel a $1,000 fine a small price to pay to curry favor with a government that has access to the treasury and controls regulation. Governing laws, too, give ministers explicit powers to instruct the boards of some statutory corporations, overriding discretion. Still, in affirming what is self-evident under the Companies Act and in applying damages, the ruling bolsters the standard of review expected at the state companies, as well as the notion that directors, political or not, must exercise independent discernment and skill in executing policy. Further, facing the prospect of scrutiny from a vigilant board challenges an executive to issue only the most well-grounded and well-justified directives. That's also good for taxpayers. Widespread could be the impact of a cultural shift brought by this judicial finding. There are at least 141 state companies, the article says. But the ruling leaves unresolved the deeper tensions inherent in private companies performing public functions without requisite transparency and accountability. Nonetheless, because it emboldens officials to challenge rash executive orders, it should be welcome as a fillip to anti-corruption fight. So that was a long article. Basically, it had to do with the life sport matter and the judge finding that the directors do have a fiduciary duty to the shareholders to exercise discernment and proper discretion when it comes to state contracts. And this is a timely ruling, obviously, because we've been treating with issues surrounding state companies for a while on the program, and we've been also in tune with the WhatsApp gate that is now saddling the whole discussion about the validity of those CPEP contracts that somehow were made by, one person would say, misinformation, because one person claims that he was misled, you know. Then there's talk about pressure from relevant ministers. That was also something raised there. But Justice Ricky Rahim wasn't having any of it. He was very precise and concise in saying that directors of state boards are not a rubber stamp. I want to read that part of there. Boards of state enterprises are not rubber stamps, the judge declared. And this is very important in the whole issue of discussing transparency and issues of state. You know, we look at how we in the media sometimes focus on who gets on the board. And I want to see beyond the who, because that is for me is a futile discussion sometimes. But I want to get into the what and how they function. And Justice Ricky Rahim is saying that they do have a responsibility, that's directors, to be diligent, to be frugal, to be well informed, and to make decisions based on those facts. And anything else is a dereliction of duty. Anything else is irresponsible, to say the least. And although the article does touch on culture, and culturally we pander to authority, culturally we acquiesce to what the powers that be, whether it be minister or whatever, those above. We still have that type of relationship, you know, where sometimes one person just has to say jump and everybody else says how high. But Justice Rahim is saying that the boards are not rubber stamp. And when you put that in context of the latest discussions with the CPEP matter and the issues raised by the former CEO and the former chairman, one would see why that discussion is relevant, because they have been in sworn affidavit, without getting into too much of the details of the messages, there have been allegations of undue pressure and undue influence in asking the former CEO to make an accommodation that would have had significant financial implications. He has said in his defense, and I'm paraphrasing here, that he did ask the right questions, he did ask for the right approvals, because in his mind these things were necessary to make a decision. Whether he thought the decision was good or not, that was not discussed. What he was asking for is the appropriate approvals. I guess he's being trite and honest. I really wanted him to go a little deeper, because at the end of the day, the decision to comply, you know, which again he has said he was misled. Misled is a slap on the wrist in my humble point of view, but as the word we use, if it maybe were a common worker, we would say the person lie, but we would say mislead, because that's what the language they're using, you know, the worker lie, but the board was misled. We will put it there, and therefore certain decisions were made. But Justice Rahim's judgment, you know, forget the fee and the quantum of the fee, in my view, sends a strong message, and it emphasizes that, you know, the board is not just a conduit of government and government officials, etc. No, it's the whole issue about pressure and undue influences could be quite a subjective one that still has to be proven, I think. No, well, I only think, I am aware that the gentleman did submit affidavit with WhatsApp messages, which will turn out to be WhatsApp gate, back and forth, and complaining about certain key parts of the process missing in the awarding of contract. So, you know, that puts a spin on things, because then you'd ask us, who set up the workers? Who set up the contractors, actually? You know, there's been much to say about the batting team, and they were harsh on the workers, etc. And I don't know that there's any candy or cookie that could be given to make the decision they made. It would have always be heartfelt for those contractors and those honest people who would have succumbed to this decision. But at the end of the day, the decision to renew the contracts at that point in time, and the CEO did speak about the quantum. He said, I see the quantum being talked about is $1.4 billion in implication. I don't know whether the state had it or not. I don't know. It doesn't seem that the Minister of Finance or the former Minister of Finance, either of them is backing up to say, well, we had the money then, so it was a good. It's quite silent, you know, on the implications and the other people implicated in a decision to do that. But Justice Rahim's dialogue and judgment in this case truly re-emphasizes the fact that directors are not just rubber stamps. They should not be. They have a duty to perform apart from being appointed and taking pictures. They have a serious responsibility to the shareholders, and that is important. To the shareholders, they have a duty. They have to do the job because they were appointed, yes, by the state, etc., but they have a serious duty to the shareholders to do their job with due diligence. The bar is not a low bar, it's a high bar. It's a high threshold. It sometimes doesn't look like that in reality, but it is a high threshold. So I want to find out from you, the Pavilion, this afternoon, 3420081 4665391, about that whole issue about Robert Stamp. Do you feel, from the limited or vast knowledge that you have, that boards have been rubber stamping decisions of governments? And I be careful, I am saying governments. I'm not singling out any one government, because this problem did not start 9 years ago. It did not start 10 years ago. It did not start the other day. Good? So I want to be lucidly clear that this is not a partisan discussion. Do you feel boards, as far as you know, as far as you've been around, you're the Pavilion, have been acting as rubber stamps? And you could even tell me why, to decisions made by state officials and government officials. Call me 3420081 4665391. I want to hear what you have to say this afternoon. 3420081 4665391. Or you can give your whole view on the judgment if you care to. But this whole idea of boards being a rubber stamp or being used as a rubber stamp, and is who put me there and I have to do what they say, and that is being used as an excuse not to think and not to apply good conscience, and you just comply, and then months after we have some incredulous decisions being made with some hefty price tags. So call me 3420081 4665391. We have a caller. Good afternoon, caller.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Rollox. You Mr. Rollox, eh?
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Rollox, I think, the job you've been doing on the radio over the past couple of weeks, I mean, it has passed the test. And I'm saying that you and the other members of the team would have done a very good job in terms of educating and enlightening the public, those who want to listen, and those people who are members of board, who have been appointed and have to be appointed, should in fact avail themselves of the discussion on particular issue on the appointment of boards and when the responsibilities are board. And that judgment, even though it may be subject to review in terms of appeal, maybe to the appeal court and finally the court of the Privy Council, I am saying it should be instructive to all of them. And in
Yes.
fact, that judgment should be given to all members, read to all members of the board, those people who are to be appointed and those who have already been appointed. I think, as you said, it is timely, and I'm saying it is very instructive. The thing about it, and then, as I said, the board, the judgment is quite clear, it's distinct, it's separate from the minister or the political interference or influence in terms of the conduct of the business of the board, of the entity, which is, in that case, you may have the sports company, you may have CPEP and all these different state enterprises and whatnot. So they have to be mindful, and there are consequences, right, where in fact they do not follow the remit, right, handed down to them. And you see the cost in terms of the money that is in terms of compensation and cost awarded by the judge, the learned judge, on these against those people, members, the directors of the board. And so I'm saying it's very instructive and it's timely. And the discussion, as just to repeat, the discussion you would have had over the weeks, you haven't wasted your time. And not just the board. I think people generally in Trinidad and Tobago, because people, most of them, they're not conscious, they're not aware, they're not enlightened with respect to these matters. And, they need to pay attention to this program in particular with respect to those matters. I wouldn't proceed because the judgment is there, and, and you have articulated, the major points in the judgment. And that is what I would say now. But the question you asked in terms of whether they've been acting in accordance, the fact remains that most people on board, and they believe why they're on board.
Yes.
Some people believe that I want a board, I want to go on a board, boy. They don't understand what is the remit. They don't understand the responsibilities of being on a board. They don't understand that the fact remains that you have to act as distinct from the minister. The minister ought not to direct you, give you instructions and whatnot. All these things, they don't know. They don't know the question about the minister and the Company Act, which is the relevant act.
Yes.
Right, yes. And the fact remains, as somebody said recently, the minister is not mentioned in the act. So you can't go and say it's the minister. Nowhere in the proceedings before the court was any minister mentioned. What they talk about the ministry and in fact in terms of public administration, the permanent secretary is there, and the public officers, civil servants, are used by convention or practice. Anonymous, you don't mention, you don't call the permanent secretary's name. All you say is the civil servant or the public officer. But the fact remains is that my understanding is that when they talk about the ministry, they're talking about the permanent secretary and those people. The minister is nowhere in that. No mention about no minister. All people may be doing speculating it might be the minister could have given this and whether he could this, that. I heard somebody talking about that. But nowhere in the proceeding was the minister's name called or mentioned. They mentioned the public officer, and how I construe it, they meant the permanent secretary. Ministry, and how I construe it, I take it to be the permanent secretary.
Yes.
So people have to be mindful about this thing. Thank you.
Thank you. No problem. Caller, good afternoon. Caller, good afternoon. Hi, you're live.
Hello?
Hi, good afternoon.
No, I'm not hearing.
You're live, I'm hearing you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Caller, you can call me back. 342-0081-4665-391. Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi. I'm hearing. Yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. But I agree with the ask the caller that called, and I learned a lot from listening to him. But I don't know much about that personally, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. But with boards, I think should be independent. You are coming there to just see to do your job with whatever you have to do, not connected to, and that's why I think you don't see ministers' name and all kind of thing, because it's a thing that the board has to agree and the board has to know what is good for the company, right? A lot of people don't know the Prime Minister, Secretary, Permanent Secretary is more important than even the Prime Minister, because some of the things they do, the Prime Minister and things is not really involved. But I think, as what the gentleman says, people on boards, Mr. Harlock, I find, should not be afraid or they couldn't do this or somebody intimidate them and all kind of things. They are on a board too. All of them is on a board. It's not you making the decision per se, you alone. That's why it have more people. That's why it have so many people on a board. So you come to one meet on common ground. I don't know if I'm wrong, Mr. Alec. You can tell me. I myself
you're quite good. You're going quite good. Go ahead. Share. You're going. It's fine.
Right. Well, that's what I was saying, because I really don't know. But I read the thing. I don't know. I came in late, so I don't know if that's what you read. I read something about the CPAP person who couldn't do something and was pressured to do all kind of things, right? I still believe that if you, Mr. Alec, have a board, is the head of the board, and everybody have to come to that agreement, what all you all agree to. Not be talking about the minister, be talking about the board, right? And if people shouldn't be so afraid of ministers and the prime minister and so much people when they are, and as the last caller said, sometimes people on the board don't know what they're doing, and they're spinning top in mud, and it's one person they put there to rule. I think some of them don't know what they're doing. They're just there in name, and that's why people say they just have a rubber stamp.
Yes.
Because sometimes, all right, put your arm. All right, you need a signature. So they put a signature.
Yes.
And that's why people say that it's But that's just my version. I'm listening to other people and we hope to get enlightened.
Thanks, caller. Good contribution as usual. Yes, there's something about how we do what we do. If we analyze our whole metaphor of a rubber stamp, that doesn't speak too highly of us, if we understand what a rubber stamp is. And okay, we have another caller. Good afternoon, caller. Good afternoon.
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, I'm listening to the program here. No, this is me. I believe if you are asked to go on a board, you have to ask you're supposed to ask a whole set of questions. What is my function on this board?
Correct.
What do I do? What is the procedure? You understand? Why did you choose me? Is it I'm obligated to you? And you ask these questions. You don't pick up yourself and go on a board just so. No. And let me just say this. You get on this board and you have to put your signature or something. What you going to do? Just put your signature just so because everybody put in it? No. That is madness.
Yes.
The first thing you have to do is to find out, boy, how this board does function. What is expected of me? Could I get in trouble? You're asking these pertinent questions to the person who want you on the board, eh? You understand? So I want to believe there are people who on our board, and for some reason, like they pays no attention then to the real nitty-gritty of what they get involved in.
Yes.
They just on our board. And you see that judgment from the learned judge, I agree with that.
Yes.
And, well, I listen to you a couple of evenings. And here's a good one. You're making sense, and I think you're doing a good job. I learn a lot.
Thank you.
You understand? But I want to believe there are a lot of people who on our board and they don't know why they're there. It was never explained to them. Have a nice evening.
Thanks, caller. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon. I had to come in again. I'm sorry.
No problem. No problem. You're welcome.
But why I come in is because of what the guy say. The last caller said. It's not a kindergarten, as I always tell people on boards and people in governance and people leaders are not babies to say, what are you doing here? Number one, even if you tell them, the guy say you have to ask questions. Even if you say, well, we have to mop and sweep and clean, which I think you should have known before because you're coming on a board. You know what the board is about. It doesn't pick up people off the street, etc. But let us say you know your guidelines. Who listening to that? Who taking on that? They could listen. They could be very intelligent and hear this and hear that and know what they do, and then tomorrow morning they come. Let me tell you something. If you all see boards, you don't look at the but this is not board per se, but the joint select committees. You all ever sit down and watch them? I watch when they have, and remember they go on and ask them questions, and if people don't know, we're looking into it. These are people, it's not probably a board, but if they could go so lackadaisical, when they finish in the Joint Select Committee, and this is the highest people in the place, all of them meeting there, and governance, everybody there. And they don't know at the end when they finish, they haven't resolved anything, but they're getting back to you, and they're always getting back. You understand?
Yes.
So this poor man thinking that is good. I hope it's real, and he said it's madness. It is madness when you are dealing with boards. That's why our country is in such a state. It's not because it's sane. It's not because we are thinking. It's not, as you say, the boards are, you have to do this and you have to. Of course not. Number one, let me tell you, half the time board people are there to pick you, mister, whoever you, is just ready to sit down and get paid. In case you don't know, this is Trinidad we're living in. Please. So you don't know on boards, right? You collect your salary, that's what? Yes, it have the thinking ones, I'm not saying it, and the poor souls, there are so few. The ones who are doing the job, like Mr. Rollock, right? You say, look at Mr. Rollock. So to me, lays out things and thinks critically, things, he will be one in even if he's on a board, everybody will think like him. He'll be one in a million, or he'll be one of a few. And I don't know if it's the Bible or something, say there are many laborers, some work and so few people who do their job. Mr. Rollock, that is the important thing. When you go there, you know what to do, but do it. And remember, he say ask questions. The person who's supposed to give you the answer, sometimes they don't know, or they don't care to know. Right? The ones that's supposed to ask the questions.
Yes.
Like I always tell people, who going to guard the guards?
Yes.
Right? Right. So thank you very much.
No problem, caller. And call us in on 342-0081-4665-391 and share your opinion, share the live, share the discussion, because this is a very pertinent issue now that we're having wide countrywide board appointments. We have a caller. Caller, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm just listening to the program and it's very interesting. I support the lady that spoke just now.
Yes.
You see, it's like a football game. There are people who want to play on the game and doesn't understand the logistics of the game. They don't understand anything about it at all. They just want to be there. Now, I always look at board members as people of integrity
Yes.
and who fully understand the logistics, especially our constitution. They ought to understand it. They have to know the law. They have to know what they're about. But there are many persons who sit on board just to support anything. So if something erroneous comes, they just, once they are a person who they respect highly, they will just vote in favor for that person and not be critical thinkers. Some people are afraid to oppose because they think that they will be castigated or something like that. And this is not what the country really needs. People who are credulous. We need people who could stand for right, don't mind whatever, and never change the principles based on circumstances. That's what the country needs to go forward.
Yes.
That is my contribution.
Thank you, sir, and very welcome. Thank you for your contribution. The caller is so correct. The caller spoke about integrity. The caller talked about having some kind of backbone, you know, doing the right thing. Later on in the program, we're going to discuss another aspect of this discussion. We're going to take it into a different realm. But definitely, Justice Rahim did not see that he wasn't accepting any excuses. Let's just say the fact that he found the directors responsible, and as he said, it's in the Companies Act. I don't know how many are aware of what is in the Companies Act and the duty of the board and the directors, but it's nothing new. It's there. It's law. But it begs the question that if it was the law and it existed all the time, well, but that will take us into a different dimension. Justice Ricky Rahim has said that, listen, this is unpardonable. You can't get a blight with this type of behavior. You have a duty, you have a responsibility to the shareholders to act diligently and to carry out your task. What do we find? You tell me. 342-0081-4665-391. Is it your opinion that we have been rubber stamping? We have been rubber stamping. A rubber stamp doesn't have a brain. A rubber stamp, you pick it up, put it in ink, you stamp. Approved. Yes. Have we been rubber stamping our way in politics, in the society, in governance? Are we teaching our children to be rubber stamps? You know? And we're not talking about opposing for opposing's sake and all of that. But definitely, when you're dealing with money and public funds as a board, you do have a fiduciary responsibility according to the Learned Judge, and it's part of the Companies Act, you know, that you do have a responsibility, and fiduciary speaks to financial and things of that nature, you know, when it comes to the expenditure of companies and expensing public funds. It's not your private money, it's public funds. So you do have a duty. You're not being rude, you're not being fast or facetious. You do have a responsibility to ask the relevant questions. I would think that you understand that this is part of your role and function. But let's hear it again.
Yeah, good. I just want to be brief.
Yes, go ahead, call out. Turn up your volume. Let me hear you a little more. Go ahead.
Since we'll be going on to another topic in the next hour.
Yes.
What I'm saying is a good start by the judge.
Yes.
In terms of, you know, instilling that sense of accountability.
Yes.
Right? Making, and that's the way we have to go. I think it's a start. And that is where, because, I mean, these people, public officers, get away with murder in this country, or public officials. No accountability, even when they go before the Joint Select Committee. That's a joke.
Yes.
That's a joke. People, books, no accounts for 8, 9, 10, 15 years. So I'm saying I must commend the
Yes.
judge for being so frank, for being so, clear and insistent in his judgment. And the fact remains is that when his judgment, again, is based on the facts, based on law, and based on evidence. That's how he arrived at his conclusion, and I think, there will have been sufficient evidence for him and the law, the relevant law, for him to make arrive at that conclusion. And as I said again, I support that, and I think that this is the way this country has to be. We can't go lower than that.
Yes.
We have to start somewhere, and this is the point of start to bring these people, make those people accountable. When they get on board, they're doing all kind of things. Who taking this to go and do that by the house? Who taking this to go and do for a concubine place? All kind of nonsense they're doing. So I commend him on that judgment.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm quite so rightfully so, caller. Now this is a good start. It is futile trying to go back and ask why this wasn't done and that wasn't done before. We can get trapped in the walking backwards and looking in our rearview mirror all the time. So we want to go forward, and in going forward, this issue came to light under the Ms. Prasad Bisesar's former government. It had to do with the live sport issue, and all the issues surrounding that. There was a lot of talk about it, and it was in the public domain for a long while, and maybe some found that thought it died a death, a natural death, as customary things here die very often and very sudden, but we have an example, at least a very relevant and timely example of a judge saying members of boards, directors of boards are not rubber stamps. They are not rubber stamps. And that is a good message. It's a good signal. We do take caution. We do take heed. And if we could take heed and we not on boards, at least I don't know if any of you are listeners, then what do you leave for the people who are on boards? And some of the callers ask, do you know why are you on the board? Were you placed there for purpose? You think you were placed there because you're pretty? You think you're placed there because you're sheepish? Were you placed there because to make up space on numbers? No. The Companies Act says that as a director, you do have a responsibility. Whether you acknowledge it or not, know it or not, thought about it or not, you do have a responsibility in law to the shareholders, and that will not be taken lightly. I do want to say that that is a very good, very, 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 very good judgment. Very, very informed judgment. There's still some issues that may linger with private public companies, all wouldn't be caught in one judgment. But the notion that directors, political or not, must exercise independent discernment and skill in executing policy. Let me repeat that. Directors, political or not, yellow or red or in between, indigo, purple, blue, brown, I don't know what other colors exist, rainbow, political or not, they must exercise independent discernment and skill in executing policy. So we're heading to a break, and after the break, we're going to ask a different question concerning this matter. But this was a good opening salvo. It had to do with the former, well, not the last outgoing administration, but the former incarnation of the UNC government and all the issues surrounding live sport. And I think it was E-Beam was the name of the company, and a contract, I think it was $34 million worth of contract, and who didn't perform the contract, and who was paid without, and all these kind of different sub-issues. But at the end of the day, the arms of the law have found that the directors were derelict in their duty. They did not exercise prudent fiduciary responsibility when it comes to the approval of the contract. So they didn't escape unscathed. They did have some responsibility as far as the court is concerned, and the court found that they were negligent in some way or another and ruled that they should be fined $40,000, which it is not the quantum, I must say, that matters, but the message will be sent and should be sent that, listen, this is serious business when you're dealing with public funds and public accounts, and you can't just say that it was somebody else and somebody else do it. We often like to blame somebody else for our actions or inactions in this case, because it may be more that the board failed to act. They failed to really carry out their responsibility as they should according to the Companies Act to the shareholders. And we have started by saying, you, the pavilion, have informed me by saying that this is a good start. It's a good move. When we come back after our drinks break, we will look at something else as a part of this, as a corollary of this judgment. We're going to ask a different question, and I would want you to answer it for me. I would want you to participate. Call in. I would lay the foundation of the discussion again. I wouldn't take too long, not as long as I did, because there's nothing to read. But I would want you to chime in and have your say when we come back after the drinks break. You know, cricket, you know how cricket does go. You know, we out here and we need to be refreshed. And we will be back right after the break. Stay tuned, 91.9 FM.
Join us and let your message be heard by thousands of eager listeners. Contact us now to learn more about our affordable advertising packages. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to connect with your target audience. Advertise with The Street 919 FM today. For more information, call 399-5959 or 384-2232.
Come shop at the biggest African market in the Caribbean with its African-inspired art, craft, jewelry, clothing, books, delicious food. We're at the Queen's Park Savannah, transformed into the Lidjasu Omuale Emancipation Village for the 2025 Pan-African Festival TT, commemorating emancipation, July 25th to August 1st. Also, enjoy jazz, pan, calypso, reggae, dance, drumming, bois, art exhibits, and for the children, the African Heritage Camp and workshops. The village opens 10:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Free admission before 3 p.m. Just $40 after. Kids under 12, free all day. Bring your family, your friends, your vibes, and let's celebrate the 187th anniversary of emancipation, our heritage and future together. The Emancipation Support Committee, shaping sustainable futures through reparatory justice.
When your corporate event needs more than just food, it needs an experience. A Michelin experience. From mouth-watering buffet spreads to beautiful packed takeaway boxes, the Michelin Experience Limited delivers more than just wheels. We deliver flavor. We deliver satisfaction. We deliver excellence straight to your boardroom. Whether it's a conference, board meeting, or a retirement function, go beyond basic. Go bold. Go Michelin Experience Limited. Call us now at 1-868-474-2250 or follow us on social media at Michelin Experience. Great food, exceptional service every time.
Hi, this is your boy Oscar B, and I'm inviting you to come on down to Cafe Blue as Cafe Blues presents a benefit concert on the 26th of July, featuring yours truly, Oscar B, and the band of Many Moons of Oscar B, with Anastasia Richardson and Keston Rosales, formerly of the group H2O Flow. And to make that evening special, come and hear Natasha Benjamin, the charismatic vocalist, passionate violinist David Frank, and hear the soulful, scintillating sounds of saxophonist Malcolm Boss. Melody, skill, pan arranger and the composer. Over 20 titles to his name. Mr. Duvon Stewart, your host for the evening, Darrell Mendoza, the Saint. Showtime, 8 p.m. Admission, $200. Get your tickets at Cafe Blue, Lyson Road, Port Spain, or call 738-4884 for further information. Don't forget, 26th of July, Cafe Blue, Lyson Road. Many Moods of Oscar B. Showtime, 8 p.m. See you there. It's going to be a mood. Come on.
This isn't just a bottle, it's a moment. Coca-Cola is asking you to come out on August 2nd at Shops at West City Canaan, 12 to 5 p.m. and customize your Coke. Can't find your name in stores? We'll print it. More info on Instagram and Facebook at Caribbean Bottlers TT.
Looking for a preschool for your child? Well, look no further. At Leaping Learners Preschool, we believe that every child deserves a jumpstart to success in a safe and loving environment. We prepare your little ones for primary school while giving them the care and attention they deserve, whether they're 3 or 7 years old. At Leaping Learners Preschool, we cater to children with special needs and provide long hours of care from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. so you can rest easy knowing your child is in good hands. And for our tiniest learners, babies aged 3 months to 2 years, we offer nurturing daycare services to help them grow and thrive. Join the Leaping Learners family today. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at Leaping Learners Preschool or visit our website at leapinglearnerstt.com to learn more. We are located in Barataria. Called 744-1523. That's 744-1523. Your child's future begins with a leap.
We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. Play way fast cash, that is the fit. We rollin' big. Fast cash and play way take win. No extra spend, just vibes and luck. Play way and fast cash turn up. We rollin', yes we rollin' big. Fast cash and play way take win. Mega mix or monster pick. Jackpot from 10,000 quick.
Jackpot starting at $10,000 have now been added to NLCB's Playway and Fast Cash games. Wager on Playway Mega Mix or Fast Cash Monster Draw for a chance to win the jackpot after every draw. Don't miss out. Visit NLCBGames.com for details. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly.
Ikaro, I am Alatumishe Ifaba Mishe Aganki, better known as MC Duke.
And every Monday between the hours of 9 p.m. to midnight,
I host a show called Orisha, The Way of Life, right here on the Sheet 919 FM, where I have guests passing through from the Orisha Ifa Baptist Diaspora to educate, edify, and inform you, the listening public, about Orisha Ifa practices. So remember to tune in
every Monday between the hours of 9 p.m. to midnight
for Orisha, The Way of Life.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast heard every Monday from 12 midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning on the Street 919 FM radio. Hear my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. The church is located at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. We look forward to you joining us. God bless you.
As my life I lay it on the altar, as my life.
Tune in to The Street 919 FM every Friday from 9:15 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. with Kingdom Health Services, situated at number 125 to 186 Eastern Main Road in Tunapuna. For the program Health and Healing, merging the old with the new, with Mr. Brent Diet. For more information, call 318-7471 or 484-0141 or 360-4100. It's all about Kingdom Health Services on The Street 919 FM.
Join the winning team with Pastor Alkaline John
every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
live on The Street 919 FM as he talks about IWER, the power of 5 fruits, one of the most powerful antioxidant supplements on the market today. The 5 superfruits in IWER are mangosteen, acai, pomegranate, goji, and nuni. These fruits have a positive and profound impact on human health, performance, and disease. Join him as he gives live testimonials of the IWER healing powers. To get more information, you can contact Pastor Alkaline John at 516-286-7079, or you can visit his webpage at www.alkalinejohn.com. Remember,
every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
live on The Street 919 FM.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
United together, come together, stronger together, unite together, united together, come together, stronger together, unite together, united together, come together, stronger together, unite together, united together, come together, stronger together. Emancipate yourself from all of the mental slavery. Emancipate yourself from all the bad mind and envy. Africans must love each other. Help one another, pray for each other. Emancipate yourself from all of the mental slavery. Emancipate yourself from all the bad mind and envy. Africans must love each other, help one another, pray for each other. Tell my people gather together, together. When Africans gather together, together, we become more stronger, and we will have the victory. We will have the victory. When Africans gather together, together. When Africans gather together, together, we become more stronger, and we will have the victory. We will have the victory. Let us stop killing each other, each other. Respect and love one another, one another. Uplift and help out each other, and rebuild our families, rebuild our families. Let us stop killing each other, each other. Respect and love one another, one another. Uplift and help out each other, and rebuild our community, rebuild our communities. Emancipate yourself from all of the mental slavery. Emancipate yourself from all the bad mind and envy. Africans must love each other, help one another, pray for each other. Emancipate yourself from all of the mental slavery. Emancipate yourself from all the bad mind and envy. Africans must love each other, help one another, pray for each other.
Okay, so this afternoon, the Pan-African Festival TT commemorating emancipation, grand opening. That's in an hour, 6 o'clock this afternoon, the Lidiasu Umawale Emancipation Village, Friday the 25th of July, 6 p.m. Queen's Park, Savannah. Shaping Sustainable Futures Through Reparatory Justice. That is the theme this afternoon. And the village is pleased to invite you to the grand opening this afternoon at the 2025 and the Pan-African Festival TT commemorating emancipation. That will be held at the Queen's Park, Savannah. 2025 also marks the beginning of the United Nations second international decade for people of African descent. And the theme of this year's festival is Shaping Sustainable Futures Through Reparatory Justice. We thank you for your positive response and look forward to welcoming you this afternoon at 6 p.m. For further information, please contact Ms. Karen Thompson, 235-5008, extension 3021. Extension 3021. And in case you're hungry, new KFC tenders just land. Hot and spicy or extra crispy, non-spicy. 3 pieces for just $29.95. Feeling hungry? For just $10 more, make it a combo with your favorite side and drink. Plus, this Java, we're not chilling, we're chasing the crunch. Dip it, dunk it, drip it. KFC is finger licking good. So, we were discussing in the last segment, and we're towards our final hour. Today we go till 6. Monday we'll return till 7. We were discussing the whole idea of the board and the judgment of Ricky Rahim, the learned judge, concerning directors of state boards and not rubber stamp. And we explored the whole rubber stamp issue. But there's also the issue of political pressure. We want to know if it's real or unreal in your view. When you look at the CPEP matter, one of the gentlemen, the CEO, said that he was complaining of severe political influence and pressure. He was getting calls and messages from the minister, the relevant minister, and people associated with the minister. So it's not all high flying up there. Maybe before you get these positions, you need to do a pressure test. I'm not too sure how we will avert this danger, this pitfall of political pressure. But I want you to call me. Call me, 342-0081, 4665391. Political pressure on these directors and these people. True or untrue? In your view, is this true? Are they just weak and making excuses for not doing what they're supposed to do? Or, in your view, you, the pavilion, political pressure is real? So before you get on these horses, these high horses, you better check to see if you can withstand political pressure. I don't know where you get that test. I don't know which garage, what instrument test that you can withstand political pressure. But some people say it's just a figment of our imagination. Weak people make those excuses for not doing the right thing and for not having character. Good afternoon, caller. Okay, call me back. That call ended abruptly. But I'm here. Okay, you're here again. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Rolick.
Yes.
Okay, the question is political pressure.
Yes.
Could you, what is political pressure?
Well, let me put it in context, right? When dealing with the CPEP matter, for instance, right? the CEO in his affidavit to the court had explained that while asking for the relevant approvals before making his decision, he got calls from the line minister and people associated with the line minister urging him on to approve the renewal of the contracts. He said after a while, I think he in his deposition actually gave a lot of text messages and WhatsApp conversations that somehow hinted that there was undue influence for him to acquiesce with the notion or with the directive, but it was not directive. And he asked if cabinet knew and if cabinet, but he said he was, and he mentioned some other strange people who were also calling him and messaging him.
Right. Thank you. But what is his portfolio?
He was CEO.
What is he?
He was the CEO of
A
CPEP.
CEO.
Yes.
Now, with a CEO comes a CEO salary.
Correct.
It is not Mr. Rollick working in an office and somebody say, hey, push that for me. It is not like that. Remember, and that money he's being paid is mine and yours, right? It's not a private firm. That's why I have no beef with private. That is the people's money, and they, the CEO, check it. People like to grumble and look at his salary. It's not look at his salary. He could get $1 million. I find so long as you do the work and you do your work efficiently, and as you say, we have to account, and that's how we account. That's how we have to account for our money. Hear what he is saying. Whoever it is told him this and some. That is not pressure. So somebody, why are you taking the phone calls? Good afternoon. So and so. Okay, thank you. Bye bye. He is the CEO.
Yes.
He is the CEO. What is a man? What are you entertaining? And then what is the sense of showing a set of WhatsApp? That is only showing how foolish you are. I find, to me, and now, sorry, I may be wrong. I like to see, I speaking from my point of view, Mr. Alec.
Yes, go ahead.
So, correct me. Feel free to correct me when you think I'm going off or I'm wrong. Because I could be wrong. In my view, you're showing WhatsApp and thing. That's your business. You're not sharing how much woman you have and where you're going in the next nightclub and all kind of thing. That's what you're showing WhatsApp. Right? What are you doing with people's business, people's money, and you're sitting on saying you were pressured? Is the people of Trinidad and Tobago pressuring them now so that and they're frightened? He is in a corner and they're trying to look like a 2-year-old caught with your hand in the cookie jar. You see, I just can't understand when you talk about boards and you see, because if you have to listen to what whoever pressure him, if you have, what are we paying him for? Well, then better the company rely on the person who calling that money, whether it's the minister or let them do the job. Let them do. I don't know. I can't understand it really. Remember, I don't know much about boards, right, Mr. Rollick?
Yes.
So you could tell me if I'm wrong.
No, your comments are quite I mean, your comments are your comments, and I found nothing wrong with what you have said. And
but, right.
we have a high level of expectation for these people, so I agree.
And that's another thing we can't expect, because I'm looking at you, Mr. Rollick, yeah. And if I have a big company or I'm in charge of anything, and I'm looking at you now, and I could put my head on a block, I don't know you, yes. Right? But somehow you could discern. I don't know what people say, but somehow it might be off sometimes, but you could discern from the way people speak their thought, what you see them doing, like in your 3 empires. I think it's yes. Mr. Selvin. Say he don't take no, he's not standing up for anything. You have to stand up for something.
You have to stand up for something.
And you look like that type of person.
I try.
Right?
Definitely.
So if you're picking a board and I pick you and I take somebody else, and So, you know, you might be going to say, can't say it's how they look, how intelligent they are. I'm sorry.
Yes.
The people on board, they have to have a good mind, have to discern properly when picking these people.
Okay.
You know, you could be wrong.
Yes.
But that's my
Thanks, caller.
view.
Appreciated.
Okay.
Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon, Mr. Roloff.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Roloff, if they didn't know then, they know now. But if you're pressured, you have choices, you have options. Either you resign,
Right.
or you bring it to the relevant authority.
Correct.
So, if in fact in the past you were pressured and you may want to plead ignorant, you didn't know, and you know now, and so they know what to do. You have option. Either you give up your board appointment, because I ain't going through that nonsense, or you report it to the. Or you could bring to the attention of the Prime Minister. You could do that. That you're being pressured by the minister in order to do certain things, and that is contrary to the law.
Yes.
Right, and therefore, let her correct it, or if she fails to do so, you go your way. I don't think that these people there's so much in need of a board appointment that you can't stand up like a man and say and stand up for what is right, and against what is wrong. So I'm saying that the template is there. The judgment is there for all to see and for all to analyze and for all to follow. Whereas in the past they have been pressured. I'm not denying that. This is Trinidad, and I am not closing my eyes in Trinidad yet to say that boards may not have been pressured in the past to do things which the directors may not have supported.
Yes.
I'm not closing my eye to that, but I'm saying now. I'm sorry for being repetitive. Now you have information. Now you have a judgment there, which tell you what your action should be. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. So we know how to test for different things. We know how to recruit for different things, but how do you pressure resistant? Let's get a caller. Caller, good afternoon.
Hey, good evening, Empire. See you by yourself there, Mr.
Yeah, the others, I don't know.
So, Mr. Rinaldo, before I make my point, let me bring an example.
Yes.
You know movie stars. If you go against the status quo, you won't, they have a saying, you won't work in this company, this industry again. And you know they say that?
Yes.
And you get blacklisted. So, the CEO was confronted. But where are the protections in the Constitution for him that after he come forward and whistleblow, that he guaranteed to get back another job? Another example, past ministers who stand up to our political party, where are they now? So, to have integrity in Trinidad is a very dicey thing to do, because you could get killed politically and your career could be demolished. So that's why a lot of people think long and hard before they make decisions, and that's why sometimes they go along with it.
So, caller, in essence, are you saying therefore that from your point of view, political pressure is a very real thing?
It is.
Okay.
And we had a prime minister say, if you go against it, it's the Cosa Nostra, and we will kill you politically.
Yes.
And that is the reality of everybody involved in the government working has to face that.
Yes.
I wouldn't call names, but recently there's a man, they call him, you like to hunt.
Yes.
Where is he now? Where is he now for standing up for integrity? Where is he now? His career is gone.
Yes.
And this is why a lot of people are afraid. Well, Mr. Rollins, I cannot spend 250,000, 300,000 to study, to come out in this field, and stand up for integrity where there's nothing implemented in the Constitution to help me, to protect myself if I whistleblow, that I guarantee that I could go back out and make the money that I need to make. Because I can stand up for something, but after when it stand up and it get all clear, where is my position? Any company would want to hire me again? Do I have a career again in Trinidad? And these are the questions we got to ask. I can't hold him against being pressured because that is the status quo from inception, Mr. Ronaldo, and we know this. Even when you as a human resource officer going in companies, Mr. Ronaldo, you know there are high people could do whatever they want because they reach a certain status, and if you go against him, the next day you pack your box. And then he gonna make phone calls with all the rest of them and you cannot get back a job. And this is where we face it in Trinidad. All right, Mr. Ronaldo, look on this now.
Thank you, caller. Political pressure. Real, unreal. Fact or fiction? Is it endemic because of weakness of character, integrity? Or is it just a fact? This pressure is real. Caller, good afternoon.
Sorry to call you again, but I was looking to see if somebody else will call, and I saw it had nobody on the line. So I listened to the last caller.
Yes.
And yes, you know, there is he makes some sense because, you know, we can't always think for ourselves, right? Because, you know, like when I think it is, I say what I think. Yeah. But he made some good points. But what he continues saying is, where are they now? Like when you stand up and when you have integrity, you have integrity.
Yes.
If anything happened, I will form my own company, Integrity Inc. Okay?
Right.
So you have to think out of the box too. When you're standing up, you're not standing up stupid, you know, and then you're not, when you are standing up for integrity, you see, integrity is a thing you have in you, you know.
Yes.
You have to do it. You can't not do as he said, as he say, which people do. You know, they say, well, oh God, to lose their salary, to lose their this, and you know, they think about all those things. When you have integrity, you have integrity. That is something in you.
Yes.
Right? But and then he said, where are they now? It's because they too are the problem, because they hide. Yeah, he say, people always, I can't call a name, I can't say this. When you have integrity, so and so things, goodbye. And you call, and I am fearless because, well, I mean, not fearless, but they hide. It's the fear tactic that they can't speak, you know? Like he said, where is the person? Like even the person who stand up for integrity,
yes,
or stand up against his boss. Where are they? I mean, where are they? Where are they? Where are they? Can't they make something of their self? Well, then they really have nothing. They should really stay there. Because when, you know, you have to have within you, you either do your own thing, have a company like you, have a company to train people, so where we'll get better. You remember, it's going forward, you know, Mr. Alec.
Yes.
Is the country moving forward, you know. I am not saying this because I don't want to do this and I didn't know, right? Because as the guy said just now, you know, that is a real thing. The pressure is a real thing. But then don't go for pressure jobs. Right? But you have to move. You have to be tough. That's like having a churn. I make some churn. I don't know what to do. Which I am.
Better you say you can't take pressure. You.
Right. When you can't take pressure.
And leave it alone.
You know, and that's why some people. Right. Like I can't make churn. I can't take that pressure. And they know. Right. But that is for our country to move forward. We cannot sit down like crybabies. You can't sit down and pressure. And I find it wrong. You cannot blame. I'm not blaming people who pressure him. Who could pressure him? No is no for me.
Okay.
Right? I'm not doing anything. I'm not taking the calls. And number one, you see how we're talking now? How he came out now. Why? He shouldn't have come out now. The time to come out is when he was being pressured.
Right.
Well, anyway, and I remember the guy said you had to study a job and thing. I don't understand. But the guy made some good points just now.
Yes.
Because there are two sides to everything, you know.
Okay. Thanks, caller.
So, Mr. Roddick, thank you.
Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon, Mr. Rollins.
Yes.
And good afternoon to your listeners. I like what she said. You can't take the pressure. Go look for no pressure work. But I hope the gentleman, if he have to face any jail time, he might get a little bag pelt over the wall, like what we witnessed on video from the minister coming to pelt it over, because I don't know if people don't understand. When you have the responsibility, the people who pressure you don't face the consequences with you.
Very correct.
So you can show all the WhatsApp you want to show. All it will say to us is the type of person that Mr. Alwari is, and it will show to us also that you really shouldn't have been looking for a pressure job, as the woman said, if you can't take the pressure.
Yeah.
Because it needs people in these positions who could stand up to foolishness.
Yes. Because pressure is part of it. It's part of the
And the thing
course.
about it, we have to demand better of them because we are paying them handsomely.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
And they're getting perks and all kind of other things. That is why we paying all your handsomely, so that all they could stand up to foolishness and be diligent while all they're carrying out all their duties on behalf of the people who paying all your, which is us out here.
Yes. Agreed, caller.
It's so much I could say, but let somebody else say.
Pressure, political pressure. Fact or fiction? Political pressure. Thin skin. No backbone. Shallow, hollow. Or who in the kitchen, let's feel the heat. Threats. You feel threatened. You feel pressured into making a decision which, in your mind, is not a good decision. Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sherlock.
Good afternoon.
Politics doesn't have to mean government things.
Correct?
Politics is actual power.
Yes.
So if I run a company, my company, let's say we are making chocolates, and my CEO, I tell him, do not put prunes in my chocolates. And there's a director who down below want to put prunes. I am the owner who is going to sell it to. Politics doesn't mean the government. Everybody thinks politics is government is in that. Politics is actual power. What's the last say? Actual power. So don't think because a fella doing something and they say we pay this money and we pay that money. I am the boss. I make the CEO. I tell you don't do something. No director or acting CEO or chairman can come and tell you different. I am the boss. And that's how it goes around.
Okay. Call in 3420081 4665391. We're talking about political pressure. Does it exist? Imagination. Caller, good afternoon.
Hey, good evening again, here, Mr. Ronaldo. I'm just gonna be quick. You know what? The question I want to ask people, Mr. Ronaldo, let's say you own the company. You is number one. Your wife is number two, and I am number three. But I know your wife involved in tax fraud. And I come to you and I tell you that your wife in tax fraud. What would you do? What would I do? I want to know if everybody feel we live in a utopia and feel that everybody will say, oh, I will make the correct decision. We live in a reality. There's a lot of things. Let me tell you something. If I go against this status quo of this political party, I could get gunned down. There's many factors you have to look at. You see, everybody think it's black and white. There's shades of gray also. There's many. You think if you and your wife involved in a certain type of job, and I go in and stand up for it, you think I will survive? You think you won't do whatever it takes to get rid of me? You see, that is why the underworld in Trinidad have so much power. Because who involved with them? And this is where people, let me tell you something, anybody in high position with high salary making billion-dollar decision, it's not an easy road, you know. There's many factors you have to face in Trinidad, you know.
But caller,
All right, Mr. Ronaldo,
no, don't go. Don't go, stay on the line, right?
Yes.
But the other side of the argument says that this is part of the course. And there's no way we can eliminate or abate or reduce political or pressure of any kind. That's part of the world in which we work. But if you know that you have a tendency to fold, now you might ask, you may not know that before, and that might be credible. But if you know that they could scare you with the boogeyman, and if you know once they threaten your family, you're gone, and if you know that if they induce you with extra ex gratia payments, you will fold, then you don't know yourself. Why take the job? Now, anybody would say you were offered an opportunity, so you try it. But I'm asking you, there are certain things that come with certain jobs. For instance, in the prison, let's take the prison service, right? Prisoners will try to threaten you, and they will try to intimidate you. There's no way we could tell the prisoners behave. They're in prison already. So if you know that that sort of environment is very, it's not conducive to you, your ethics, your morality, how do you go in there and then complain, then bow, and then how do you do that? That's my question.
Or, but you see, that's, you know, with being in that type of environment in prison, that's something you have to be made for.
Right.
But let me go back to the CEO, right?
Right, CEO,
his
correct.
job is his job is just clear cut.
Right.
He knows exactly what he has to perform, what he has to do. So let's say for the past 5 years, he doing everything clear cut, correct, everything up on board. But coming to this last issue here now, to put the pressure on him, right? To put this pressure on him. This is the first time he's dealing with this pressure.
Yeah, well, on his elections. So,
his elections, right?
Yeah.
And now he's thinking now to himself, do it or don't do it. I wonder if they'll win. If they win, then my career is ended.
Yeah.
If I don't do it.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
So damn if I do, damn if I don't. And you know, this is the point we're trying to make. You see, every situation you have to look at the outcome. And you know, so is he in a predicament? I wonder if they win back and I don't do this, if they will end my career.
Yeah.
I wonder if I do this, if you know, and this is the reality we face.
Yes.
Mr. Ronaldo, you see, everybody just be talking about integrity and that, right? But if you put in a small sample like going to school, your child going to school, they have a barbecue sale. So they want each parent to come out $500, but you sign a check for $2,000. When they have big sale, you sign a check for $1,000. Your child is going to have a smooth sailing in school. Your child is not going to get expelled. So you use the system for your benefit.
Yes.
And it costs you a little bit of money.
Yes.
And this is the reality we live in. Just like if you go to license your car, and when you look so, you tend line, but when you look so, you see a brethren.
Yeah.
And the brethren say, give me the documents on that law. That is not integrity. You breaking the law.
Yes.
But we will accept that because you thinking it's not big, but that is integrity also. You see, we have to define there's a thin line with integrity and not being having integrity in a very thin line. All right, Mr. Ronaldo, there's somebody else calling.
Thank you.
Yeah.
good conversation, good call. I do acknowledge that it is not an easy road. We have a caller. Caller, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Yeah. To put a 2 cents on that, we're talking about he was pressured, right?
Yes.
But wasn't he at one time legislated in the parliament?
Yes.
And making decisions and laws? So how could he say that he was pressured? You understand?
Well, he said as CEO he was pressured.
Yeah. I'm talking about Alwari.
Oh no, he didn't complain about being pressured. It was his CEO.
Oh, was the CEO?
Yes, it wasn't the minister. Or it's the CEO who complained that the minister and others, purportedly,
right,
pressured him.
Right, but he could still have a little they could still be a little soft on him, but the others is not today. It's 10 years, almost 10 years. This have been going on, and where I live, I wouldn't say where I live.
Yes.
But just opposite me, there was a guy who deal internally with the well, I could say the PNM, right? I'm not calling no name, right?
Right.
And he used to be telling me about the kind of things that they were doing, and how corrupted they were.
Yes.
Right. And I know it's for a fact, but if you can prove something, you could just say, but you can't prove it, so it would not be. So I believe that if this new government that is in place, that if they could put things together, in perspective now, to avoid these kind of mass teaching that going on to the country first.
Yes.
The box, it have to stop somewhere.
Correct.
Like for instance, where we saw in the prison, the guy has a 64 inches television, right? It left to wonder. Whoever in charge of prison have allowed it, and it stems from somewhere from the top and not from the below. That is why the small man, when you catch him, when they should catch him with a little smoke of weed, they jail them, and then when these big men on top, right? They were doing it. They were bringing in the weed and bringing in the cokes and the gun and whatnot, and they are set free. And the small man pay for the big man.
Yes.
So these things. So I'm saying that I'm not like a side for anybody, but I would like to see, that good governance. I would like to see good governance. Well, where we could at least feel a little free on the street again.
Okay.
Our children, our grandchildren, they will be a little free now.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you for calling. Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, Mr. Rallo. What time you're going up to today?
We're ending at 6 today. On Fridays, we go from 4 to 6.
Oh, yeah. Also, you're finishing just now.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm just looking how is you alone. And while you're speaking about boards and integrity and all kind of thing, I realized there's two empires. We did not know that they weren't coming, so I'm looking at it as a board, right? And
yes.
They don't have the decency to even tell you how to, I don't know, that come like on a board. When, Paul, you taking all the pressure here. Mr. Whoever was supposed to be there with you could have sent a nice lady. You could have said, well, it might not be because, prior engagement, so and so and so. Because we you alone there. I mean, it's nice having you alone there. But I mean, if that was a board, the guy just now said at how the caller just now said, with all the talking, he said he in the middle of it, because where I live in, a guy told me and started to told him, right, about the things that was going on. So you see what I'm telling you, why people just play baby and play so innocent and they didn't know under pressure. When it has things that going on, it's not to say you are innocent. And hear him, and he couldn't talk because he couldn't prove. But if you couldn't prove, shut up. If you can't prove, you're not supposed to talk. You know what I mean? Because they can't prove. What are you speaking about? What you alleged? So that is just my little thing.
Yes.
But I'm looking at our board. I am in the pavilion, and I'm looking at our board, okay?
Yes.
Tell the other board members.
Yes, I will. And they're listening. So the other umpires, you've heard, the members of the pavilion are asking you to account. Well, I do know that you both gentlemen are on matters of state and other matters, I do know. So, but you have a responsibility to the pavilion now. So definitely we have to get that ironed out. So political pressure, we're talking that this afternoon. How does it affect? Is it really, is it you? Is it the pressure? Is it you, the person? Is it a weakness? Is it your inherent weakness? Because some people take positions, and if they ask to compromise tomorrow, they're gone. We've had people resign from state boards before. We've had people say, take back your appointment because I will not do X, Y, and Z, and I will not comply with X, Y, and Z. But we have other issues of allegations of pressure and undue influence in trying to secure some outcomes and have things in your favor politically. So is it fair to ask why now, as we seek to close? Why all this political pressure? Why is it fair to ask? Do we ask ourselves why we were appointed or put there in the first place? Is it that we are a society of rubber stamps? Is it that? So now everybody is complaining about doing the right thing because doing the right thing is hard and it will have consequences, so it better do the wrong thing. Is it that this is the message we're sending? Is it that we're trying to tell the society and show young people that doing the right thing is easy, and when it gets hard, forget it? Because as I was telling one of the callers, I suspect it will be hard. And I also suspect there will be fallout and consequences. Is that something we willing to not only bear but teach our young people? Because if we keep telling them that doing the right thing feels easy and feels nice, we'll be setting them up. Because as I was telling one, they said caller that this was always part of the reality. This is not an OJT going in our job, And I want to bring in that dimension to the discussion. This is not an OJT who is first in work, first time in a job market, or first time in the world of work. This is an individual of high esteem, very well qualified and certified, may have come with great recommendation and great trust. That doesn't say that you are above attempts to pressure you or to make you do things that you really don't want to do. But I want to find out from you, you know, those of you who haven't called in as yet. 3420081 4665391. Political pressure, is it fact or fiction? And tell me how you deal with it. Tell me how you deal with it. Tell me how you deal with it, even if you agree that this is a reality. How do you deal with it? Caller, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm not hearing. I deliberately waited and did not want to call in, but the time is going, and I see and you're not saying you have a call. You when you were speaking about is it a political pressure factor favor, you were speaking and you said you were speaking to somebody, a child or something, or even your children. It's not what you tell your children, okay? It's what you show your children. So like that, how that man there, he's showing the world, his children and other the youth, how not to be, right? Talking about how he's sounding, right? You can't teach children. You don't tell children, boy, this easy and doing the right. Life is hard. Life is hard sometimes. Life isn't always easy. There are ups and downs. And these are the things you show your children when you act. You don't tell your children. You show your children, and that's why they know from small integrity and things. It's from small. You don't when you reach it and say something bad or good, you know what I mean? You show them. Right? So.
Thank you.
That's my little.
You're very correct. You're very correct, and we do have to improve on the lessons we teach our young people, or the ones that are aspiring to high office, especially those who are willing to climb the ladder, or who are desirous of climbing the ladder of public service and public participation. You know, is it that, do we have illusions and misconceptions about power? Do we have, how to put it, I'm looking for the word, do we have surreal ideas about what it takes to lead and leadership in organizations, and how much of leadership is unhindered? Do you have any great leader who didn't have a challenge, or who had a walk in the park and everybody agreed with him? Is that the type of leader we're training our children, or the ones who are coming up to be? And so then if you or I are at the top of the upper echelon of leadership and management and etc., isn't there a greater expectation of how we should conduct ourselves? Isn't that a greater expectation of fortitude and being forthright? Isn't the expectation greater? Or are we leaving that for the janitor or the little newspaper boy? He must have integrity. But you pressured. You may feel because of where he is in the organization, lower down, he doesn't have any pressure like you. You have more pressure. But you are also remunerated more than he is. So call us and tell us about political pressure. 3420081 4665391. If any of you, so we could explore this, been pressured before in your work, call in your job, tell me you've been pressured, or somebody tried to pressure you in your job, in your work. Somebody tried to get you to do something that you weren't interested in, something that you really wouldn't want to do. You could call in and tell me about that type of pressure, because it seems commonplace in our culture that we require followers. We like followers, we like sheep. Is this pressure real? Have you ever been pressured before? Yes, no, how did you deal with it? How did you deal with it? Call in if you can before the program ends, because we're winding up here today. We're winding up. We explored the judgment by Judge Ricky Rahim in saying that directors of state boards, quick recap, are not rubber stamps. And political or not, you do have a duty to act responsibly, and that is supreme. That is most important. That we remember to whom much is given, much is required. You know, and holders of high office, directors of boards, state boards, cannot just cower and are not expected to cower to the whims and fancies of those who have nefarious motives. You are allowed to think for yourselves. I know sometimes bosses tell workers, I didn't hire you to think. Or you tell your management or your staff, I didn't hire you to think, I hire you to do what I tell you to do. Sounds quite colonial, huh? Sounds like slavery all again, but now we passed that, man. Slavery doesn't apply again. But we really have to rethink our relationship with power. Some of us have to rethink our relationship with integrity if these are the jobs and the positions that we seek. It will not get easier, and that will be my closing salvo. That will be my mantra. It is this not going to get easier. Pressure will only increase. So if you're not pressure resistant or press resistant, kindly do not open yourself. You know, it's just like some of us can't deal with too much temptations. We can't deal with too much choices. You know, and then we blame, I had too much choices. We prefer when we had one choice or none at all. So we have to be careful what we want. We have to be careful what we wish for. Let us mature, and let us pray and hope and teach our leaders to be mature and accept responsibility and stand up according to the judge. You are not a rubber stamp. Monday, we're going to look at the coup and associated incidents.
And so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.